Good boy. Very good boy. Welcome to Healthy Dog Eats. I'm Kim Bachati, and this is Dr. Coz. And what we're here to do is we're going to teach you, after Mr. Coz says hello to everybody, how to cook healthy for your dog and for yourself. This is kind of like a little bit of a throwback for me because prior to becoming a dog trainer, I was a professional chef for 20 years. So I learned a lot about nutrition. Not enough though, more for people than obviously dogs. But I spent some time researching and trying to find out the best things that we should be feeding them. Here, let me take his head off for a minute. We're going to let him relax. The best things, very good. The best things for that we can feed them and to keep them healthy. The problem is that we're facing, we all know, is usually 1 in 2 dogs dies of cancer. And that is a terrible, terrible statistic. It's something that was never this way 10, 15 years ago. So why? I mean, that's the question. Why are the cancer rates rising in our dogs? Well, so much goes back to why the cancer rates are rising in us, and it has to do with exactly what we eat. So there's so much controversy also as far as, do I feed kibble? Do I feed home cooked? Do I feed raw? Everyone has its pros and cons, and I'm not here to say this is better, this is not. What I'm here to teach you is how to add to what you're doing. So let's say you're a person that feeds your dog kibble. Well, there's a couple things that you can do a couple times a week just to help, just to add some extra benefits to that. If you're able to home cook for your dog, awesome. You're going to learn some really cool recipes, things that you can do. We're even going to be putting off a nutritional course in a few months that can help you learn exactly what to do, what you need to supplement into that. You know, if you're a raw feeder, there's some change. You can put some different things in there. Make some treats. You know, everything is, you see a lot of times a lot of recipes for treats, but a lot of times it's just simple things. Today, we're just gonna make a simple cancer-fighting fruit salad. So now we're simply just gonna start off with our ingredients. Very simple ingredients, and we've chosen these ingredients for specific reasons. We have our cantaloupe, watermelon, blueberries, coconut. We're gonna do a little bit of coconut whipped cream, coconut water, and then we're just going to do a little bit of mint for some garnish. So with no further ado, why don't we just go ahead and get started and we can talk about it as we do. First, we're going to cut up our cantaloupe. And one thing a lot of people do is, cantaloupe is something, whoop, need a garbage bowl. Cantaloupe is something that a lot of people kind of just hack it into it. I cut it a little bit easier. I take off the top and take off the bottom. We actually make it like a stable surface. So it goes like that. And then we're going to simply kind of cut around the sides. Cantaloupe is very high in vitamin A, which helps build the immune system, and vitamin C, also in magnesium. Dogs actually produce their own vitamin C. We don't produce it. So it doesn't matter though if they have any kind of an excess vitamin C from the standpoint of basically they'll just excrete it when they go to the bathroom. So that's not really a bad thing. In fact, one research that I uncovered said by giving the dogs extra vitamin C when they're younger, that helps with hip dysplasia, preventing, and also preventing arthritis. So that's, like I said, with all these studies and all this stuff going on, a lot of times it's hard what to know or what to believe. So as long as it's not hurting them, then what do we have to lose? Because it could come out that it's very, very true, or it could come out that it didn't do anything. But you know what? I'd rather be proactive than reactive. So back to our cantaloupe here. So we need to have a little bit more green stuff down here. We need to get kind of cut off. I didn't cut off enough off that bottom there. Anyway. So also in magnesium, that is an enzyme, and that's something that actually really, really helps as well with the digestion. So with your cantaloupe, we're just going to, first of all, we're just going to obviously cut it in half. And then we have to scoop out the middle and get all of this stuff out. We're going to use about 2.5 cups of cantaloupe and 2.5 cups of watermelon, a cup of blueberries, and we're going to use some of the coconut water, and then we're going to make our coconut cream for the whipped topping. Now, not all dogs will like fruit. In fact, Cosmos isn't really a big fan of fruit whatsoever. And so I'm not sure how much of this we're actually going to get him to. We'll set that aside for later. How much we're going to actually get him to be able to eat this. He's a fan of whipped cream. He does like the blueberries, and he loves the coconut water. But as far as the cantaloupe and melon, he's not really a a big guy on that. But that's okay because there's other items that you can put in this fruit salad. We're just not using it because apples and bananas, both of them obviously, you know, they turn brown, so we have to put a little lemon juice with them, which dogs really shouldn't have citrus. So we kind of try to stay away from that. Another thing that we want to make sure is when we're cutting our fruit in fruit salad, we want them to be pretty much about the same size. Makes for a prettier presentation, easier in the bowl. And like I said, about half a cantaloupe is about 2.5 cups. So we're just going to add this all in. Some pieces are a little bit bigger, but I haven't done this kind of stuff in a while. Been dog training for the past 10 years. All right, so that takes care of our cantaloupe. Next thing we are going to add is our watermelon. And I had to buy seedless watermelon for sure. And then also dogs aren't able to eat the rinds, so don't be able to give them the rinds. I had to buy some kind of that was already packaged because we didn't have very good selection at the store when I went. So usually it's about a big slice, this is about 2.5 cups. Maybe this is a little bit about 2. But once again, we're going to do the same thing as we did for the cantaloupe. We're going to take away from the rind. Put that in our garbage bowl. And just get that off. Very much so. And watermelon is actually 92% water. So this is actually really great hydrating for the dog. It also does have the vitamin A as well into it. And they really like it. A lot of times they'll like it where it's frozen. And you can use that and make different kinds of popsicles and all that kind of fun stuff with it. But where you have our key ingredient is going to be coming up here in just a few minutes. So the next thing we're going to add is our blueberries. And our blueberries are a super cancer fighter. With blueberries, they found that they are an angiogenetic ingredient. So let me step back and I kind of explain to you what that means. Angiogenesis, I have to make sure I pronounce all these right, is the way that our blood vessels form new blood vessels. It's kind of like if you get a cut and those blood vessels make it so the cut heals. It kind of forms a scab and so forth. Well, what they found was that when those are out of balance in our bodies, which our bodies usually regulate, what happens is it is the cause for cancer, arthritis, and obesity. Every cancer is related back to bad angiogenics. So they had done some research in, I believe it was 2010, and scientists found they had researched 600 dogs and they did this angiogenetic therapy where they have the drugs, but they also had the ingredients of the foods and so forth. So they put them with the dogs, 60% response rate. So that was a really good response by just altering that, and they even found that it had an effect on mast cell tumors. So blueberries is the berry of choice. Strawberries is something we do avoid because a lot of dogs do have allergies to it. So in the fruit salad, maybe just pass, if you want some strawberries, you can kind of put it in for you, but don't give it to the babies. Raspberries, blackberries, all those are great as well. Like we said, apples, bananas, those are anything you can add, into this, especially if you're going to eat it right away. So for us right now, we're just going to put our blueberries right up on top. We're not going to mix them yet because our next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to work with our coconut water. So I'm going to get a little bowl here. And what we're going to do, I need a whisk. Whisk, whisk, whisk. There we go. All right. So now we are going to take about a 1/4 cup of coconut water, and this stuff is amazing. This is kind of like dog's Gatorade. It's got electrolytes in it. They love the taste of it. They love the smell of it. Cosmos, you want to try some? You want to see if you like some of this? I know you do like some of this. I know. This is very good, isn't it? Very good. You tell everybody it's very good. All right, so we're going to put in about a 1/4 cup. You can kind of just eyeball it. And then we're going to take some of the meat of the coconut. Did you know that coconuts are actually really green? And what happens is, in the grocery stores, they just have really old ones that turn brown. So if you want a really super fresh green coconut, go to an Asian store. You usually can find them in there. So we're just going to whisk this up a little bit. And then we're going to take and we're going to pour it over the top of our melons. And we're gonna let that sit and kind of soak in, kind of absorb and get that flavor a little bit more into the watermelon and the cantaloupe from that. Put this down here. All right, next is our whipped cream. So this is really kind of a cool thing to do. You take coconut milk, and what you do, this is just unsweetened, obviously. I went for organic, but they didn't have the organic at the store. And you put it in your refrigerator overnight. About 8 hours, worst case situation or whichever. And then watch and show you what happens here. Let's get this garbage bowl out of our way. We're going to open this up. Let me get this top out of the way too. And you will see what happens just inside. Now, coconut milk is actually made from the meat of the coconut. And you'll see it all hardened up on me there. So I'm going to go grab the bowl to make our whipped cream, because you need to chill your bowl and your beaters prior to doing so. And we'll get ready to make some whipped cream here in 1 minute. Okay. Now that we are back with our cold bowl on my hands. It's cold, Cosmos. It's cold. Huh? You're a good boy. We're going to simply just take out, I think this plastic spoon is going to be a little bit harder to do it. I need to get a better spoon. Excuse me 1 second. I should have been a little bit more prepared for that. All right, so we're going to take out this, but we want to make sure that we don't get any of the water of the liquid in it, because it's all sitting at the bottom. You're going to see it in a minute here. And we are going to whip this up. Boy, this really is cold. I don't want to pop it up. There we go. You can see the liquid down there in the bottom. And I'm trying to avoid getting that in there. So I think what I'm going to do now is maybe take this, a little bit of it, and we're going to pour it into here. There we go. That'll be a lot easier. And you can reserve the coconut water for something else, or something else that you're making for the dogs. A lot of times what I'll do is, because you can see some of the meat is still in there, I'll kind of strain that out. So basically, we're just going to put that through there. Hands all cleaned up here. I think I need to wash my hands real quick. There we go. All right, I'm going to get this on our mixer. Now, we don't want to add any sugar to it. Really, the coconut is pretty sweet itself, even being unsweet. And it's kind of like a little bit of, I mean, I guess you can add a little bit of sugar if you want to yours. Dogs shouldn't have the sugar, so kind of avoid that. We are going to add a little bit of vanilla, maybe half a teaspoon, whatever you feel like. You can actually even probably flavor it with anything else that you wanted, whether it be a peppermint or, you know, any other kind of a flavoring from that as well. But what we're going to do right now is we are going to whip up our whipped cream, and we'll be right back. All right, now you can see how easily that whipped up. Let's whip out of here, take our bowl out, and see how wonderful we have whipped cream. But it doesn't work if you use the light version, and you really do have to make it cold, otherwise it won't separate, and you'll have too much liquid in there and it won't work from that standpoint. So we are just going to plop this out in a little bowl here. This like this for right now, and we're going to get ready to go ahead and go mix up our fruit salad. Now that we had it sitting here for a little bit there, put that back there, towel. So we had all that nice coconut water absorb into there. Beautiful salad. And serving size is about a cup, which is only about 75 calories. So you don't have to worry about, oh, I'm going to be adding all this extra to my dog's, you know, food intake and calories and that kind of thing. You know, if you're worried about it, give them a few less treats that day or something. But this is something that, with being so much water, it's going to get passed through easy, and they're going to get all the benefits of the wonderful antioxidants and all the vitamins that's in here for it. So let's give it some try. Just kind of dish it out. Got a couple big pieces of watermelon in here. I didn't do very good on that, that's for sure. Those blueberries in there going. That looks like about a cup. And I'm sure Mr. Cosmos is going to eat it. And don't worry, sometimes actually fruit is a harder thing for dogs to eat. And it's not that they don't like it, it's the texture, because they're used to kibble. I had a dog that I trained one time, and the client, before I had gotten there, was actually using what they call as a lickety stick for the dog to lick when they were rewarding the dog. So as I sat there and was trying to do this and reward the dog with a treat, he didn't know how to chew it. He just wanted to lick the treat. So it's funny how their mind goes and how they think. So if they don't like it today, try it again tomorrow. I'm just going to give Cosmos some. I know he doesn't like that, but I know he likes the blueberries and coconut water. So we're going to give him that with, of course, a little dollop of his whipped cream here. And there we go. We'll put a little bit of a dollop on there. There we go there. And awesome for Cosmos, which he can usually eat more than that, but just for today, we'll have a little bit. And even put a little sprig of mint for him, help with his bad breath. And one there, and put one on there, and voila. We have our fruit salad. Very, very easy. I have to get Miss Christina over here to try. Okay, and Cosmos, are you ready, bud? You have to tell everybody all about it. I know you want the blueberry and the whipped cream. Good. Of course he's licking the whipped cream off. Thanks for watching, guys. You can get our recipe if you go to our site at empoweredpups.com. Look on the homepage. There'll be a link there where you can download the recipe, and you can have all the additional information and the research that we actually found on the cancer. And how that these are such good preventatives. Eating you all over. I know you like the blueberries.